This podcast is brought to you by iPlayHockey.ca. iPlay is the leading hockey insurance provider to coaches, camp instructors, spring and summer hockey leagues, and tournaments across Canada. If you need insurance for hockey, iPlay has you covered. iPlay also provides hockey players and coaches with a wide range of free tools, drills, and skills in their drill vault to enhance on-ice performance, and they provide crucial off-ice knowledge as well. So if you need insurance for a hockey team, league, or camp, or if you just want to teach your kids some new drills, head on over to iPlayHockey.ca and check out their new website.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 275 of the Boys in the Booth podcast. Just Cody and Melbourne with you for this one. Chad, great to see you, and let's get into it here with Core 4 stories to kick it off, sir.
Core 4.
Core 4.
Core 4.
Core 4.
Core 4.
Core 4.
Core 4 is
Core 4.
Core 4.
All right, here we go, brother. Episode 275, Core 4 stories to kick it off. And we got to start with the big news coming down on Sunday afternoon. A shocking change behind the bench in Vegas as the Golden Knights let go of head coach Bruce Cassidy, replace him with John Tortorella. Just 8 games left in the regular season, and Vegas with a big move behind the bench. You know, the Golden Knights haven't really been going great since their return from the Olympic break, as I explained in our latest video that we posted on the Boys in the Booth Instagram. They have just 4 wins over their last 16 games, and the Tortorella era in Vegas will begin Tuesday night in Vancouver. So what do you make of this unexpected change behind the bench in Vegas?
Unexpected is right. Like, nobody saw this coming. I mean, there were some rumblings that maybe Cassidy's leash was short sort of down the stretch, but that never really happens, right? Like in the last 10 games of the season, that never really happens, especially for a team in the playoffs looking to ramp up here and sort of start their second season. So yeah, this is a total shock. Nobody saw it coming. Torts being the head coach of Mitch Marner in Vegas, to me, is just the funniest thing on planet Earth. Like, he's already, Mitch that is, he's already on the phone with his dad saying, hey, look, we got to get out of here. Like, we got to move. We got to get out of Vegas. We got to go somewhere else because I'm not dealing with Torts as my coach. Like, I don't know. That's just insane. Torts hated Matvei Michkov in Philadelphia. He hated all of his star players, and I don't know what he's going to do with this Vegas roster. Maybe this is the coach they need. I will say, after every new coach is hired in the NHL, you do reliably see that new coach bump. So, you know what? It usually happens in the middle of the season or at the start of the season. And then, you know, that gives it enough time for the new coach bump to sort of fade away. Maybe this is Vegas just sort of, you know, galaxy braining this and trying to get that new coach bump at the exact time that they need it, which is ramping up for the playoffs here. It's a very, very bold move, unexpected to say the least, but very interesting here from Vegas, which, you know, you could say that about so many of their moves. We'll see how it pans out here, but I don't know. Torts wasn't on my list here as the next coach of the Vegas Golden Knights with 8 games left in the season.
No, it is a bold move for sure. I have to make a correction, by the way. So Tortorella's first game behind the bench with Vegas will be Monday night again against Vancouver. By the way, you know, the only team that has trailed more this season than the Vegas Golden Knights are the 32nd place Vancouver Canucks, which is pretty crazy as well. And also Vegas, their goaltending this year has not been very good at all. Aiden Hill has really struggled, and Akira Schmid, you know, nothing special there. Apparently Carter Hart is coming back into the mix, but I mean, I don't really expect a lot there. So, but going back to this move, yeah, it is bold. I can't remember a coaching change happening this late in the season before.
So I have something on this because the guys on SDPN were talking about this a couple weeks ago because
Right.
Adam Wilde is, he's been all over this. So credit to him for kind of putting this out into the ether before it actually happened,
Right.
because this was so unexpected. But he was saying, he wants, as a Leaf fan, for Vegas to fire Bruce Cassidy so the Maple Leafs can hire him. And obviously he didn't have Torts as the guy replacing him, but there were some other names out there. But they brought up a couple other times that it happened, and the two times that they could remember were both Lou Lamoriello in back-to-back seasons when he was the general manager in New Jersey, doing it back-to-back years, firing the coach and taking over as the bench boss himself both years. So I forget the names of the coaches who were fired, but they were talking about that, how it happened in back-to-back years. Both times it was Lou Lamoriello saying, you know what, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. I'll hop behind the bench. So obviously we didn't see that. That's pretty crazy too. But both of those times happened late in the season. He took over as the bench boss. But yeah, Torts coming in with just a handful of games left is absolutely bonkers to me. We'll see if it works out.
No, exactly. And the last thing I'll say about this is, it's clear that Bruce Cassidy has a little bit of an expiration date. He can give you your team success. He won a Stanley Cup behind the bench with Vegas in 2023, but I think he's just one of those guys. He's a hard-nosed guy, and the message after a while maybe falls on deaf ears. And very
Yeah.
similar to Tortorella. I mean, an extremely old school, hard nosed guy who I think at first will give Vegas a nice little bump here and maybe, go 8-0 for their final 8 games for the regular season going into the playoffs. Who knows? You see the new coach bump all the time. But, I wonder about like moving forward past this season. What does this look like into next year? Because again, similar to Cassidy, I think with Tortorella, like he gets every drop of blood, sweat, and tears out of his players. And then I think at some point it begins to be too much. And the message gets stale, guys get sick of it. And I mean, we all know how it ended in Philadelphia. Like,
Yes, glad you brought that up. I have the quote here. So
yeah,
it was a 7-2 loss to the Leafs, and Torts said, "I'm not really interested in learning how to coach this type of season where we're at right now." So Torts got his wish. He doesn't have to coach a team that's in the dumpster, even though, sort of as we talked about last week, maybe Vegas doesn't deserve to be where they are in the standings, but that's, we had that debate last week. But yeah, he
yeah.
got his wish. He's coaching a team that it's going to the playoffs and it's got some stars. So we'll see if he can get them back on track here.
BetterHelp is the paid partner of this video. The new year is a blank space for you to write a new story. BetterHelp makes it more convenient to get you started. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy more comfortable and convenient. They carefully make sure therapists on the platform are well qualified, and their customer support team is there to help you if you have any questions. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Your next chapter starts today. Get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp online therapy at betterhelp.com/boysinthebooth in paid partnership with BetterHelp. And a team, whether it's true or not, I mean, they clearly feel that they are still in their cup window. Although it doesn't look like it this season, but yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out for sure. All right, Chad, we'll move on to our other 3 items here for Core 4 Stories, episode 275. Couple of nice NHL debuts earlier this week for Carter Yakimchuk of the Ottawa Senators. Looks pretty good. Goal and an assist in his debut with the Sens in a win over the Detroit Red Wings at Little Caesars Arena. Nice little between the legs pass to Timmy Stützle for a goal for his first NHL point. And Anton Frondel, who made his NHL debut with the Chicago Blackhawks, picked up an assist. with the Hawks in their win over the New York Islanders earlier this week. So a pair of nice debuts for these two young players. Also, just as an honorable mention, should also say that Jorian Donovan made his Senators NHL debut earlier this week as well. Same game for Yakimchuk, that one in Detroit. And Jorian and Sean Donovan, the former Ottawa Senator, become the first father-son duo in franchise history to both play for the Ottawa Senators. So that's pretty cool. But focusing on Yakimchuk and Frondell, their debuts look pretty good so far. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought they were both great. Both assists were great. In particular, Yakimchuk's. I saw his. My brother-in-law Cam sent me a Snapchat of his TV, the replay after it happened, saying like, "First game, no nerves. Look at this, the through the legs pass on the blue line, and it leads to a goal." So yeah, I thought that was great for Ottawa. They ended up, that was the game where they beat Detroit, right? When they had 5 regulars out of the lineup. Was that
Yeah,
his
yeah.
debut? Yeah. So I mean, the Sens are humming. They're really trying to get into a playoff spot here. Detroit's kind of crashing, going the other way. But yeah, the Sens can use all of that youth that they've got here to keep moving forward. So good for them. Good for Yakimchuk. He's going to be a great player. We knew that when he was drafted high. As for Frondell, like, I was trying to find it. I couldn't find the first tweet that was a picture sent out of him. I'm not sure, you might know the one that I'm thinking of, but it was a picture of Frondell in, I think it was warm-ups, or I forget exactly, but whatever it was, like the angle of his face, he kind of looked like, kind of chubbier, and he's not like a chubby guy, but all the comments below it on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff were like, look at this guy, he's out of shape, whatever, whatever. And then I saw like scouts or maybe not scouts, but like prominent, like Scott Wheeler, for example, like that kind of type of person
Mm-hmm.
replying to tweets saying like, no, like remember Frondell was number 1 in the VO2 max in his draft year. So like he is like, he just kind of look, I don't know why he looks like that, but so I just thought that was funny that his debut was sort of overshadowed by a stupid picture of how he looked on Twitter. But yeah, he gets the assist. Like, good for him, man. The Blackhawks are loaded up front going forward. I just thought I had to bring that up because there was a funny. I wish I could find the picture right now, but I can't. Maybe it's been deleted. But yeah, anyway, I
That
thought that was good.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's pretty funny. And look, man, I mean, that's going to be a pretty dangerous duo for a long time. I think the Blackhawks hope, at least, with Bedard and Frondell. So, yeah, a pair of nice debuts for a couple of big future pieces
Oh,
for the Sens and the Hawks.
yes.
Did
Do
you
you want to
find
see the
it?
photo? I've got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
So this
sure.
this won't mean anything for people just listening, but if you're
Right.
watching on YouTube, you can take a look. This is the photo, and like it's a bad photo, right? Like the kid
Yeah.
is clearly in peak physical form, but like he's looking closer to Phil Kessel than Pat Kane in this one. But it's just funny. Like some of the comments were pretty good. But anyway,
Oh.
there you go. Did you see that before I just brought it up, or is it just
No,
me
I
living? Okay.
actually didn't. No,
So
no.
I'm just
But
too deep on X. That's all. Too deep on Twitter.
I guess so. Clearly, I need to be paying attention to it more, be a little more plugged in for stuff like that.
Yeah. The quote on that tweet is from the Habitant, is Montreal logo. And why
Right.
did they use the fat face filter on him? And they're crying, laughing. So I
Oh
don't know.
gosh. No,
Anyway,
oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
sorry.
All right, couple more items here, Chad. Speaking of that Chicago Islanders game earlier this week that Frondell made his NHL debut in, Matthew Schaefer's ice time in that game, bro, close to 32 minutes. His ice time was 31:58, and it was the most ice time ever by a teenager in a single NHL game. Like, I don't know the exact number, but does it not feel like every single week Matthew Schaefer has broken a new record? Like
Yes.
it's crazy. Absolutely nuts.
I saw the other day most points as a New York Islander rookie passing none other than John Tavares. So
Of
and he's a
course.
defenseman. Like it's a joke, man. And we're going to talk about the Norris Trophy today in this episode and the Hart as well, but like I had a hard time like not bringing up. I mean, I know he's not going to win the Norris Trophy, but like
Yeah,
I need to mention Matthew Schaefer later on in the episode
of
for
course.
Norris contention because he's been that good as a rookie. So yeah, this stat's incredible. Who plays 32 minutes as a teenager? Like it makes no sense, but they're pushing right now as well. The Islanders, they're trying to hang on. They're trying to, be a playoff team. So like they've got to use him. And I guess if you think that he's your best guy to, give you those 32 minutes, then by all means, just keep playing him, keep throwing him over the boards. He's 18. He's got the stamina. So yeah, he's an incredible player, man.
He really is, and I think about what Ray Ferraro said a few weeks back, like because you look at Schaefer, like you look at him in his suit when he's coming in pregame, and like there's not much to him. Like
Yeah.
he very much looks like an 18-year-old, but obviously does not carry he the way he carries himself and plays. He is mature beyond his years. And it's pretty wild. But Ray said, like, just imagine how good he's going to be after he puts on 15 pounds of muscle. Like, look
Yeah.
out, you know?
Like he's listed as 6'2", 186. So
Yeah,
like that's a lean, that's a boy.
for
Like
sure.
really.
Yeah,
Like that's a
he's a
boy.
boy. He's a boy right now, but
Yeah.
when he puts on another 15, 20 pounds, like Ray said, I mean, look out. Like
Yeah.
we are looking at, part of the next generation of great defensemen in our game
Yeah.
with Matthew
100%.
Schaefer. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Chad, one more final item here. It's that time of year where college players are leaving the NCAA to sign their entry level deals with NHL teams, some names bigger than others. And the Philadelphia Flyers getting a big part of their future signed to his ELC, and that is forward Porter Martone. He signs his ELC with Philly, 50 points in 35 games with Michigan State University. And so good for Philly to get him under contract, and he's obviously a huge part of their future.
Yeah, good for Philly for getting it done. They've got a good piece here in Martone. We saw him lots at the World Juniors, and yeah, he's going to be a great player. Sticking in the same sort of area, guys signing either their ELCs or AHL tryouts. Did you see the James Hagens deal? What an odd
Very,
one that one was.
very interesting for
So
sure.
I listened to the latest 32 Thoughts, and Elliot was talking about how teams were sort of wondering if Hagens was going to try to go back to college after this, after finishing an AHL tryout, because once you play pro, you're not supposed to be able to go back to college, right? That's the whole
Right.
idea. And Elliot was saying on 32 that teams and agents were kind of calling him and explaining this to him and saying like, we don't really know the rules anymore in terms of how the NCAA interacts with the AHL and whatnot. So because obviously things are changing and quickly. So it's interesting. I can't remember seeing something like this. Like a really good player coming out of college and signing an AHL tryout rather than just an ELC to hop onto the Bruins roster. Like it's an odd one for me. I don't know. What did you make of it?
I thought the same thing. I was pretty surprised. I thought for sure that he would sign his ELC, join the Bruins roster for the stretch run here, a team looking to make the playoffs. Absolutely. Yeah, this was a bit of a head scratcher to me, but I guess, what I took away from that 32 Thoughts episode, the latest one, and I listened to it as well, is that basically what you said, that, NHL executives and people around the NHL. They don't really know the rules anymore in terms of NCAA eligibility, and if you can come play some pro games, then go back. I guess he could, and I
Yeah.
guess Hagens didn't really want to talk about it, go over it, or anything until the season was actually over, with Boston College. So anyway,
Yeah.
here we are. But it's interesting.
And I should say too, this is kind of a fun part of the year for anybody who even remotely follows NCAA hockey, because as teams get eliminated, you'll see those star players sign with their NHL teams and join the big club. Like we've seen it a bunch of times in the past. Like obviously for me, the most recent example in Leafland is Matthew Nyes a few years ago. The Golden Gophers get eliminated, and all of a sudden this 6'3", 220-pound 19-year-old is playing in the NHL, and it's like, where the hell did this guy come from? But it's exciting, right? It's
It
exciting for these
is.
teams who, especially teams who are pushing, right? Like Philly, they're probably out of it, but they're pushing.
Yeah.
So they,
Yep.
if they want to see what Martone looks like in the NHL, they can do that. And same with the Bruins. If they end up signing James Hagens to an ELC after this AHL stint or whatever the heck is going on there, like then yeah, they can use him in the playoffs. So it's an exciting time for teams who have NCAA prospects here as their teams get eliminated.
This podcast is sponsored by SeatGeek, the absolute best ticket app out there. SeatGeek takes the confusion out of buying tickets, making it quick and easy to get the best deals to tickets at your favorite sporting event. SeatGeek does this awesome thing where they score each ticket out of 10 based on its value, so you know whether you're getting a good or a bad deal. Last time I got tickets to see the Devils play, I first saw red tickets. I waited it out, monitored the price in-app, and once I saw green, I pulled the trigger. SeatGeek makes it that easy. And here's the best part. SeatGeek has completely hooked us up. Boys in the Booth listeners get $20 off their first purchase on SeatGeek with the promo code Boys in the Booth in all caps. Click the link in our description to download the app, and remember to get your discounted tickets using the code Boys in the Booth in all caps. Get great seats for a fraction of the cost with SeatGeek.
It really is. And we should mention, Cole Hudson, who looks great with the Washington Capitals. So there's another big example right there. But yeah, it is a fun time of year for sure.
Yeah. Okay, Hart and then Norris.
Yeah. So obviously, we're getting closer to the end of the regular season here, closer to playoff time. We're about 3 weeks away, maybe a little less than that, from
Crazy.
the Stanley Cup playoffs beginning. I know, man. I don't know where the time has gone, but so looking forward to it, especially because there will be a team in it that hasn't been there in 14 years. Just saying. Anyway, we'll let the audience figure that one out. But
Yeah. Detroit?
it's it's a fun time of year, not only because of players leaving college to sign ELCs with their NHL teams, but also to look at some awards and give some nods for some NHL hardware. And we're going to do that here with guys that are in the mix for the Hart Trophy and for the Norris Trophy. So, and again, just brief definitions of those awards. Hart Trophy is awarded to the player who is most valuable to his team, and then the Norris Trophy goes to the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. So anyway, which one do you want to start with, Chad?
Let's start with the Hart. I think that
Sure.
one is the most fun, and I think there are some very clear candidates, and I think the Norris is a little more wide open. So yeah, let's start with the Hart. And last year it was Connor Hellebuck, if you remember, which is crazy because goalies don't often win the Hart Trophy, but Hellebuck last year was just incredible. It took the Winnipeg Jets to first place in the Conference League. Did they win the President's Trophy last year? I know
they did. They did win the President's Trophy last year. That's right.
Yeah, and he won the Vezina too. And so, Yeah, like let's do the Hart. What I did before this was I went on to FanDuel and got the odds. And hold on, let me
Yep.
just correct my.
Still there. Oh, that's better.
There we
Perfect.
go. Okay, so
Yeah.
I went on to FanDuel and got the odds for
Yep.
both of these trophies here, just to kind of give the audience a bit of a ranking in terms of what FanDuel thinks. So number one at minus 105, so the favorite to win is Nikita Kucherov. Number two at plus 100 is Nathan McKinnon. Number three at plus 800 is Connor McDavid. Number four and plus 4,000 is Macklin Celebrini. Number five, Ilya Sorokin at plus 50,000. And number six, defenseman for the Buffalo Sabres, Rasmus Dahlin at plus 50,000 as well.
Love
But in
it.
number six on FanDuel's ranking. So,
Love it.
yeah, like some pretty great players in the mix there. I feel like I should just give, some basic stats for each player here, and then we can open it up and talk
For
about
sure.
where we rank these guys. But Kucherov right now, 40 goals, 81 assists for 121 points in just 67 games played. It's no wonder he's the favorite. He's been, I think he went 16 games where he had 16 points out of the gate, something like that. And since then, he has just been absolutely electric. Like
Oh yeah.
almost 2 points a game since that time. So
Yeah.
he's been incredible. Then there's Nate McKinnon, who has 48 goals, 69 assists for 117 points in 71 games. McKinnon, by the way, has one Hart Trophy. Kucherov has one Hart Trophy. The next guy on the list, Connor McDavid, has three Hart Trophies. He has 42 goals, 82 assists for 124 points in 74 games. Number four on this list is the rookie, like Macklin Celebrini. He is unbelievable. Like young player in this league and is just absolutely dominating. So he's incredible. 36 goals, 62 points or 62 assists for 98 points in 71 games. Has sort of fallen off. Like he was really close. He was 1-2 with McDavid at some point, probably mid-season, coming back from the Olympics. But he had a stretch here recently where he had, I think, one assist in 6 games. So it's kind of tapered
And
off for him.
and his team has tapered off as well. They've kind of fallen out of the race here. They've lost a handful of games in a row, but my
Yeah.
gosh, he has been incredible this year.
Yeah, I think San Jose is officially done. Like they're probably out now.
Yep.
And I don't think you can be given the Hart Trophy if your team doesn't make the playoffs. But
Yeah.
anyway, we'll continue. Ilya Sorokin is sitting at number 5, probably the best goalie in the league this year. We're going to talk about that next episode when we get into the Vezina conversation, which
Yeah.
is always fun. But Sorokin, 48 games played, 28 wins. That's good for 6th. He has a 914 and a 247 goals against. He has a 32.5 goals saved above expected, which is first in the NHL. And the most impressive stat, in my opinion, is 7 shutouts on the season, and that's first in the NHL as well. So he has a real good shot at the Vezina Trophy and potentially the Hart, if you think so. I think it's a bit of a long shot. So do the FanDuel odds makers at plus 50,000, but he's listed there nonetheless. And then Rasmus Dahlin, 17 goals, 50 assists, 67 points in 70 games played. He has been just an absolute stud again on the blue line for the Sabres and has been really carrying the play for them, I would say. Like, obviously, he's their best defenseman. He is a premier defenseman in the league. He's a top 5 guy for sure. And yeah, so he's in the Hart Trophy conversation. Of those guys, I think if I had to rank, I would disagree with the odds makers a little bit. I would say that Kucherov is definitely my number 1. After that, it's probably McDavid. Like, I feel like the only reason McKinnon right now is ahead of McDavid is a bit of voter fatigue. Like, McDavid's won 3, McKinnon's won 1. Yeah, they're both having incredible seasons, and McKinnon has more goals, so you can that's a notch on his belt in his favor. But McDavid's been incredible all year. He's really
Yeah.
carried the Oilers. Like, Leon Draisaitl's been out, for an extended period of time with his injury. So I don't know. I feel like a lot has rested on McDavid's shoulders, and we've talked about how we think they should have got more at the deadline and whatnot. So yeah, for me, it's Kucherov number 1, McDavid number 2, McKinnon number 3. After that, it's probably Sorokin, and then number 5 is Celebrini, and 6 is Dahlin. These are all fantastic players who have, are really incredibly important to their team. But I think it's hard to ignore Kucherov's production this year, and that's why he's my number one. Like he's been so good.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. I'm good with that order that you kind of have those guys in, Chad. Maybe you could put Dowling ahead of Celebrini at this point because the Sharks have kind of fallen off here down the stretch. I know one trophy that Dowling should 100% get this season, and that's the Masterton
Yes.
for what he has been through off the ice. By the way, really cool moment. His fiance was back in Buffalo for the first time earlier this week. And, for a Sabres game. And I mean, just the ovation, absolutely tremendous from the crowd. So good to see that building full and alive again. And Darlene with a nice little smile on the bench, looking up at the jumbotron when that was going on. So just have to put that out there. Do I think he's going to win the Hart Trophy? No, probably not. I mean, his odds are pretty long. However, there it is right there. Really, really cool moment there for
Yeah.
Darlene's fiance, Carolina. So that's great. He should 100% win the Masterton. But probably not going to win the Hart. His odds are pretty long, even though Buffalo's set to end a 14-year playoff drought. He's been that good this year as well to help them, end this drought. And but it's got to go to one of those top three, to Cooch, to McDavid, or to McKinnon. Absolutely. And I mean, McDavid really jumps out to me. I know he's got 3 already, but this Oilers team, it looks like they're finally trending in the right direction here. But talking about player most important to their team. And I mean, he fits that definition to a T, like you said, especially with Draisaitl out right now and
Yeah.
not having his number one wingman there. It puts even more on him. He does not shy away from the big moments. He delivers every single night for this team, and they will go as far as he can take them. So honestly, my favorite here might be McDavid, but Kucherov,
Really?
absolutely incredible. McKinnon, incredible as well. Colorado's been a juggernaut pretty much all year. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd have to give the edge to McDavid, I think, which would mean 4 Hart trophies potentially, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. But Harp, if you feel that way, head over to FanDuel right now because he's at plus
Put
800.
some money on it.
He's at plus 800.
Yeah.
You could get a great value there. Like, I think McDavid should probably be number 2 ranked right now. And Cooch minus money, I think, is odd. Like, what did I say? He's minus 105 right now or something. He's minus 105. So, like, I don't know. I think there's still value on McDavid. Like, he could light it up the next, 8, however many games they have left. And if he beats Kucherov by 5 points, like, but then there's the voter fatigue thing. So I don't know. Maybe that's not a wise bet, but you could at least maybe dump some money at plus 800, wait for the line to go up a bit, and then cash out. You could do that if you're allowed on, depending which app you use. But yeah, so anyway, but Kucherov here, like, I'm just going to put his numbers on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, I forget who was talking about this the other day, but it might have just been someone on Twitter talking about it. But like, look at Kucherov's points in his last 6 full NHL seasons, right? So I'm talking this one, last season, the season before that, and then, he missed an entire year. There was a shortened year, and, he only played 68 games one year, but then, here 2018-19 and 2017-18. So like, these are all of his full seasons. 100 points, 128 points, 113 points, 144 points, 121 points, 121 points. Like, I think we need to sort of have a conversation about Nikita Kucherov here as not only him being like the best player in the league or one of the best players in the league in terms of production, but like he's getting awfully close to historical numbers here.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the way that he is producing, not many other players in the NHL have ever produced like this. And so I don't think that Kucherov is underrated by anybody because I think everybody knows how good he is, but I just feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves. And he is just such a magician out there, like,
Oh
especially on the power play. He is the most deceptive player.
yes.
Like, you never know if he's going to shoot or pass. Like, he freezes defenders and he's just so slick. He's just, I don't know. He's one of the best players I've ever watched personally. And, and I feel like not enough people say that out loud because he has this
Yep.
whole, you know, persona that like he doesn't really care. And like there was the whole all-star game thing that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Doesn't have a great attitude, I guess you could say, and plays in Tampa, so you don't hear about him as much as, McDavid, who plays for a Canadian market. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like Kucherov's numbers, as I'm looking at them here over the last 6 full seasons, are just astronomical. It's insane.
We interrupt this podcast to tell you about one of our favorite partners, Sign Up Expert. If you're a sports bettor, whether brand new, casual, or hardcore, listen very carefully because this ad is for you. Guys, line shopping for the best odds matters, and that's why any profitable sports bettor needs to be using multiple sports books to maximize their profits. Thankfully, there has never been a better time to get signed up, and we are here to connect you with the best promotions industry-wide. When you use our link at signupexpert.com/boysinthebooth, you can get access to all of the top sportsbooks in your region, along with a review of each platform and its unique benefits. Most importantly, all of these sportsbooks have valuable sign-up offers for new users. And when you register through our link, you will automatically receive the top offer at each one, allowing you to start line shopping with an enhanced bankroll. Guys, it's simple. When you use multiple sportsbooks, you ensure that you can always access the best available odds, which is key to successful and profitable sports betting. So, if you want to take advantage of these incredible benefits and support our brand at the same time, please consider signing up for your next sportsbook through our link in the description below, signupexpert.com/boysinthebooth. If you're planning on signing up for a new sportsbook anyways, you might as well use our link and support the boys. So, one more time, that's signupexpert.com/boysinthebooth.
Well, it really is, and he may go down as the greatest Russian player ever. Like I don't
Which is
think
crazy.
it is crazy. I don't think that's a stretch by by any standard. A couple of things. One, I do think that a lot of people do know that he is so good. He is a superstar. I mean, he is the best in the game, in my opinion, at deception. You
Yes.
just never know what he's going to do. The other thing that has kind of been floated out there is that he didn't play in the Olympics, and so he got a full break, and so
Mm.
you can't you have to factor that in as well, or you can't give him the award based on that. I mean, that's got nothing to do with it. First of all,
Agreed.
the fact that he didn't play in the Olympics is way beyond his control. Obviously, there are still geopolitical concerns there with Russia and all of that. So, but that's not even a factor. Like the fact is that he is a consistent top producer in the game, and so you have to put that first, and on a contending team you have to put that first over the fact that he's Russian, the fact that he got a full Olympic break, all of that. Those are things that are out of his control. I just thought it was important to point those things out because I mean that stuff has kind of been out there. He's an elite superstar, and yeah, he is the favorite for this award right now for a reason. He is
Yeah.
that good.
over the past 4 seasons, Harper, Connor McDavid has the most points at 509 in 200.
1,200 now in his career.
That's right. Connor McDavid, 509 in 299 games played. It's silly. Like, those are silly numbers.
Yeah.
But number 2, right behind him, and again, this is over the past 4 seasons, is Nikita Kucherov, 308 games played. So he's played 7 more games. He has 499 points, 10 fewer points. It's like, we hold McDavid up on this pedestal, number 1, because he's Canadian, and number 2, he's the captain, number 3, he plays for a Canadian team, all of that, right? Like, he gets a lot of the oxygen for his production, and he's flashy, he's the fastest player in the game, he has the quickest hands, whatever, he can skate up and down a rink, he can chop the puck, whatever. But Kucherov, he's right there in terms of production, right there with him. And yeah, he does it in a different way. Some will say, he's not as complete as a guy like McDavid or McKinnon, but the production, you can't deny it.
No, you can't. You can't. And, I think because we're Canadian, again, there's a little bit of bias involved. It's like, well, the best players on the planet, well, who are they? It's McDavid 1, it's McKinnon 2.
Yeah.
And then Kucherov is wherever in that top 5. But, I mean, like you said, with his production over the last 4 seasons, second behind McDavid, not far behind him as well, maybe we should be talking about Kuch as the number 2 best player on the planet.
Yeah, it is wild. And here, I'll just share screens. You can see some of these numbers over the past 4 seasons. So yeah, pretty wild stuff, man. And
David Pastrnak, by the way, nice to see him on that list, 5th. That's pretty good. Having another Hart Trophy caliber season for the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
Definitely an honorable mention for me for Hart consideration, and definitely a long shot, but might be fun to throw a few dollars on him too. Don't know what his odds are. They're definitely super long, but because he wasn't in that top 6 there on FanDuel, but he's been unbelievable this year for Boston.
Yeah, some interesting names in this list too. Artemi Panarin in 6th in terms of production over the past 4 seasons. So
Mitch Marner, 8th.
Willie Nylander, 11th. So anyway. Okay.
Yes.
Norris, we on to Norris now?
Yeah, let's talk about the Norris for sure.
Okay, so I did the same thing with the Norris. I looked at the odds on FanDuel. Also important to note that last year Makar won it. He's in the mix this year. Again, no surprise.
2 Norris trophies in his career.
That's right. He has 2. The other guy who is in consideration is Quinn Hughes. He has 1 in his career. But leading the pack on FanDuel, and I think in most people's minds, is Zach Werenski. He's at minus 390 on FanDuel right now. So he is the overwhelming favorite, which I don't know if I agree with that. I think he should definitely be in the sort of top 3, top 4. I think he could even be the favorite for sure. But to be minus money, minus 390 at that, like, I just feel like, those odds are going to change after every game here. And it could get closer depending on what Makar does or Bouchard or Quinn Hughes. But here are the other ones, other players involved here. So Zach Werenski, minus 390. He's number 1. Cale Makar sitting at number 2. He's a plus 420. Evan Bouchard is at a plus 1,200. He's sitting at number 3 on FanDuel's odds. Quinn Hughes is at a plus 5,000. Like I mentioned, he has 1 Norris Trophy in his career. He's sitting at 4th. Lane Hutson sitting in 5th at plus 10,000. And a guy who we were talking about for the Hart, who is in consideration for the Hart Trophy, is Rasmus Dahlin. He was not given a line on FanDuel. So, the longest odds here are Lane Hutson at plus 10,000, but Rasmus Dahlin, you cannot bet on him on FanDuel right now for whatever reason. So you can find him on other apps. I would assume he would be in that number 6 or 7 range in terms of favorites for the Norris Trophy.
I think he's got a better shot at the Norris than he does the Hart. Don't you?
I agree. I mean, his odds were severely long for the Hart, but I mean, who do you think has a better chance of winning the Hart Trophy or the Norris Trophy? Lane Hudson or Rasmus Dahlin? I think that's an obvious one. It's Dahlin,
Oh, of
right? So
course. Yeah. When you factor in, where the team is at and where they're going and where they haven't been in a long time,
yeah, and I think most
that's
would
got to be a
agree that
factor.
yeah, and I think most would agree that Dahlin is the more complete player. But let me
Hmm.
just roll through some stats here. So Zach Werenski sitting in first at minus 390, 21 goals, 56 assists for 77 points in 66 games. Cale Makar at number two has 20 goals, 52 assists for 72 points in 72 games, exactly a point per game. Evan Bouchard, also 20 goals, 66 assists, 86 points in 74 games. Crazy. Quinn Hughes, 6 goals, so far less than the other three that I just mentioned. 66 apples, 72 points in 68 games. Lane Hudson, 11 goals, 60 assists for 71 points in 72 games. And Rasmus Dahlin, 17 goals, 50 assists for 67 points in 70 games. So just shy of a point per game there. But some other notables here that I think I should mention. Darren Radish also has 20 goals. So join the club, a defenseman this season with 20 goals. Unbelievable. Like it's insane to me.
Gonna
And
get paid, baby.
yes, and he has 65 points in 65 games. So good for him to
Yeah.
be in a point per game. Matthew Schaefer, 22 goals and 56 points in 74 games as a rookie.
Yep.
So good for him. He's second in goals among defensemen as a rookie. And first in goals, can you guess who it is? It's not a name that I've mentioned yet. Just
Oh, it is Jacob Chikrin of the
that's right.
Washington Capitals.
That's right.
Yeah.
23 goals, 53 points in 72 games.
Yep.
So talk to me about the Norris. I think if I'm ranking, I'm probably going Werenski, Makar, Bouchard, Hughes, and then Dahlin. I think those are my top five. So talk to me about the Norris. What do you think?
I'm good with those as well. Again, Darlene deserves to be right in that conversation. Man, I would love to see Matthew Schaefer win it. Absolutely. And you bring up Jacob Chikrin, who leads all defensemen in goals. He needs to start being talked about, I think, as an elite defenseman. He's certainly
Yeah.
paid like it, and he has produced. And I can't believe he didn't get a call from either Team USA or Team Canada for the Olympics. We talked about Chikrin around that time, and
Yeah.
he said that he didn't really hear anything. So that may change. But um, for me, it is Werenski. I think he really has worked himself into that first tier of elite superstar defensemen in the National Hockey League that, in my opinion, starts with Cale Makar, then goes to Quinn Hughes. Can't believe Hughes only has 6 goals, by the way, but I mean,
Yeah.
just a shit ton of assists.
Oh, yeah.
No shocker there. And then Werenski, like those are like the top three, like Mount Rushmore defensemen in the National Hockey League. You look at the
Well,
run that the
hold on,
Blue
hold on. Wait. Then Mount Rushmore. You only mentioned three, so who's the fourth? You got to complete the Mount Rushmore here. I'm putting you on the
Yes.
spot. You got to add a fourth.
Well, I would say so. I was getting to that.
Okay.
So Elliot Friedman has said this. He's used the term Mount Rushmore, so I got to give him credit for that, of course. And he said, it's Makar, it's Hughes, it's Werenski, and then he threw in Heiskanen as the fourth. Well, I would make a push for Dahlin to be number 4 there. I think Dahlin is every bit as good as Miro Heiskanen. And you and I have had this debate before, and I know
Yep.
you tend to agree as well that you think
Yep.
he's just as good as Miro Heiskanen. But man, like it's interesting. So that would be my 4. It would be the 3 that I mentioned, and then Dahlin in that 4th spot is sort of the Mount Rushmore for defensemen. But the most interesting name in there, again, is a guy who gets a ton of heat for turnovers and everything else. But Evan Bouchard,
Yeah.
people, is an elite NHL defenseman. And I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
Dude, he has 86 points this year. in
He's got
74
he's
games.
got more points than Werenski, Makar,
All of them.
Hughes, all of them. It's ridiculous.
He's got 9 more points than Werenski. Like, I personally, I think Werenski is the favorite simply because Bouchard, I don't think he's going to win it. Like, I really don't think the voters are ready for that conversation yet.
I agree. I agree with you.
And
I
it's
do.
very similar to an Eric Carlson, right? Like, when
Yes.
Eric Carlson won his first Norris trophy, yes, he had some defensive lapses and he wasn't known for being a defensive player, but his production was insane. And you got to remember, his first one was during a time when scoring was way down in the league, too, right?
Yep.
His production was crazy. When he won it a few years ago, I think we're only 2 years removed from him getting 100 points. It was like, okay, you can't not give it to him because
Yeah.
in terms of other defensemen who were producing at a similar clip, like there were none, right? It was just Eric Carlson because that's the way that he played and he did it year over year, right? So both times you had to give it to Eric Carlson despite his defensive deficiencies because it was like, look around, guys, there's no one else who's doing this. Well, the landscape now is a little bit different because you have guys like Bouchard, Werenski, Lane Hudson, Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, Rasmus Dahlin. They're all putting up over a point per game numbers right now. Some of them may get 100 points in a season in their career. Like, it's not unheard of anymore with scoring up, with defensemen becoming more integral to a lot of teams' offenses, right? It's not just Eric Carlson on an island doing it by himself, so you feel obligated to give it to him. It's like, okay, yeah, Evan Bouchard has the most points, but let's bring it back a bit because Werenski has a ton of points too, and he's an overall better defenseman, and he's been more important to his team overall, right? And so I can see that argument being made a lot more now that there are more guys at the upper echelon production wise. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does, man. And looking at this list, and I give the edge to the guys who don't have as much firepower around them on their respective teams. And so to me, Werenski kind of leads the pack in that regard because you look at Makar on a loaded Colorado team that has Nathan McKinnon, Marty Necas, and the list goes on. Bouchard has McDavid and Draisaitl, the list goes on. Hughes in Minnesota has Kaprizov and Boldy, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
With Werenski, he is so far and away their best player. And, I know Rick Bowness has done a hell of a job here. They've gotten the new coaching bump in spades and look like a playoff team, but there's some young pieces there that are going to be good, but and they have some very good players, but overall, compared to the other guys, just not as much firepower around him. He's been that good. And honestly, Werenski should probably get some Hart Trophy love as well.
Totally. I totally agree with that.
So
if
he takes
Dahlin's in the
cake for me.
conversation,
Yep.
if Dahlin's in the conversation, Werenski should be as well. And
Totally.
You're totally right. Like, he just doesn't have as much to work with. And
No.
it's so obvious when you watch Columbus too. Like, he is the offense. Like,
Yes.
he's the transporter. He's the main guy.
Everything goes through him. And even with Dahlin in Buffalo, I think the other guy you could make an argument for Hart
Bo Byram?
votes, let's say, is Tage Thompson.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I thought you were going to talk about
No.
other guys who are offensive on the blue line, but yes,
No.
Tage has had a fantastic year too.
Matthias Samuelsson for the Norris, yes. plus 32, by the way, this season. Samuelsson.
Good for him.
Incredible. Yeah. But no, I just, again, Columbus has a lot of good players. Charlie Coyle's having a heck of a year. They've got some guys who have been nice surprises, having career years. But overall, again, Werenski it all goes through him, man. He drives the bus for that team on a nightly basis. They're not where they are without him. And so Norris, yeah, Hart Trophy love, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he's tied for second in goals on the team, right? Like
Yep.
Marchenko's got 25 and Werenski's got 21. So it's, yeah, he's so important to that team. I could definitely see him winning the Norris. And two, like we don't always want to admit this, but voter fatigue is a real thing. I brought it up when talking about McDavid. Cale Makar, he has two. Quinn Hughes, he already has one. Bouchard is not going to win it for the reasons that we talked about. I think it's Werenski's to lose.
I think so too. And I think what you just mentioned is a big factor in all of this. The fact that he hasn't gotten one yet. I think
Yeah.
that sits heavy with voters. And, in terms of wanting to give it to Werenski, here's a guy who clearly deserves it and hasn't won a Norris yet.
Yeah, and he's missed a ton of time for injuries, right?
He
And
he
then,
has, yeah, he
like
has.
he played 13 games one year, and I forget what the injury even was, but obviously he signed that big ticket, and everybody knew his potential. And then last year, it felt like he really sort of came back into
Mm-hmm.
form, and he was a point per game, just over a point per game last year. And now this year, he's picked up right where he left off at the end of last season. So, yeah,
Up until last year, I think it's fair to say that in terms of the best defensemen in the league, it was Makar and Hughes, and it's everybody else.
yeah,
Well, Werenski, based on the last year and a half or so, I think has put himself right there at number 3
yeah.
in
I
that
totally.
in that top tier. And again, if if you had to do 4 for a Mount Rushmore, I'd have Dalian at number 4. But look, man, like we've talked about this before. I really do think that we're kind of in a golden age of defensemen in the game right now.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why, like, Bouchard's not going to win it because he's not the
No,
only guy putting up these numbers like Carlson was a
exactly.
decade ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
exactly.
and just to wrap up the episode, I'll give you my Mount Rushmore right now,
Sure.
just looking at total points this year.
Yeah.
My Mount Rushmore: Evan Bouchard, number 1; Lane Hudson, number 2; Darren Radish, number 3; and Charlie McAvoy, number 4. That's my Mount Rushmore for defensemen in the league.
Charlie McAvoy, I'm glad you mentioned him because he is one of my favorite defensemen. That guy has been through the ringer with injuries. Oh my God, his face
Yes.
and his mouth and everything else. But I just think he's a really high character guy. Had a rough year last year, has fought through a lot this season. He's produced. Boston is in a better position than I think any of us thought coming into the season. So I'm glad you mentioned McAvoy because he deserves some love as well.
Yeah, 100%. Warrior, and
Oh, yeah.
just almost underrated at this point, like
Yep.
kind of keeps that blue line together in Boston really well. And yeah, lucky to have him because he's a great player.
For sure. May very well be the next captain of the
Yep.
Bruins. We'll see. But anyway, Chad, great discussion about a couple of big awards here. The Hart and the Norris. Will be back next week, of course, to talk about a few other awards. The Vezina and Jack Adams we're doing
Yep.
next week.
Jack Adams. And just before we wrap up, I have to mention one thing. Talked
Okay.
a lot about the Columbus Blue Jackets this episode, so I want to give my condolences to our good friend Corey Morrell, who I beat in fantasy this week, and I am on my way to the fantasy finals in the Boys in the Booth Fantasy Hockey League on Yahoo. So just needed to mention that. Sorry, Corey, I beat you, but better luck next year.
I finished in 9th place by not very many points. And,
And who
can't help
finished
but
in
think
8th?
back. Who did finish in 8th? You?
Me. Yeah. And I upset the first place, your brother, Emerson.
Yes. So, and that was the other thing. Well, a couple of things. So, number one, finishing in ninth, it's my own fault. I think back to the nights where I forgot to set my lineups, and so on the bench, Jason Zucker, let's say, has 15 points. Oh, great. He's
Yeah.
sitting on the bench.
Lovely.
But hey, it happens to all of us. And then number two, yes, I was going to mention some of your latest victims lately have been Emerson and now Corey, of course. But that's okay.
Yes.
He's feeling pretty good about his Blue Jackets, so I that's all right.
Yeah, that's true. Just had to get that out there because
Yes.
I
Of course
bought
you
at the
did.
deadline. I got Willie Nylander, I got Cole Caulfield, and both those guys have helped me from an 8 seed to go all the way to the finals here. And we'll see what happens next week. But boy, fantasy is fun when you're winning. It sucks when you're losing, but it's pretty fun right now.
No, for sure. Of course, you had to get that in there. And, talking about Caulfield and Nylander, they've helped you. Yeah, well, mostly Caulfield. So,
Yes. No, that is true. That is actually true.
all right, man. Anything else to add before we put a bow on this thing?
No, that's it. I'm done gloating.
Perfect. Okay. Thank God. All right. Thanks so much for listening to episode 275 of the Boys in the Booth podcast, proud partner of I Play Hockey. Make sure you head over to our Instagram, follow us there as well at Boys in the Booth. We've been posting a lot of great content lately that's been doing really well, getting lots of views. So thank you for that. Let's keep that going. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week with episode 276. Take care.